Hi guys, Jackie from Famished Farm. Welcome to my basement. 2024 is the year of minimal me, and one of my big projects was getting the basement decluttered. We moved 4 years ago and still were full of boxes and totes and all kinds of stuff in the basement that just needed to be organized. We needed to get rid of things that we could and donate the rest. So today we're starting out. We have a little tub on the stairs to the basement that's going to save us from going up and down the stairs for the little things. And we're just going to one by one work through all of these boxes. Our goal is to get rid of all the cardboard, make sure everything is labeled, organize this side of the basement and the other side of the basement where all of these boxes are going to be stored. Here is one of the first paper boxes, cardboard boxes that we're getting rid of, and it feels so good to be able to offload things out of cardboard boxes. We at this point have a ton of empty tote boxes that we're going to be using. If you're looking for a video on beautifully organized basement spaces with containers all the same color and size, this is not for you. But if you're looking at using what you've got, then this one may be for you. We have an assortment of different sizes, some clear, some opaque or colored containers. We're gonna be using those. What I am vowing to myself though is that each of those boxes will be labeled and organized, so if we need to find something, we can go to a specific area and find the thing we're looking for. Now in Rod's case, it might mean he'll have to go through 3, 4, 5, 6 of these boxes to locate it, but that's just the way it is. The labeler that I'm using is just a brother machine that I got at Office Depot, probably on a Black Friday sale. I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. I thought they were so cool. I got my sister-in-laws both one, and we have used this for lots of different projects, both in the house and for my business. So it's been a really good purchase. I have about 2 or 3 cartridges that are ready to be made into labels. Guys, this is another one of my goals, is to get rid of all of the boxes that don't have lids or that are broken. And I think in this case, this particular box, the lid went to a different storage box and the container itself is also cracked. So that will be going into the garbage. And in this case, it does have to go into the garbage because we do not recycle number 5 plastics where I live. So while I do use the labeler frequently, each time I use it, it takes me about a minute to figure out how to use it again. But once I got it, it's just piece of cake. You type in what you're going to label, print it, and then cut it and stick the label on. Now here's a good thing about perhaps not having all the same containers, the same size. In this case, I'm offloading a bunch of Rod's ball caps into the storage box. It ends up not being big enough. So luckily I have different size storage boxes, so that can go right into a different box and still get it organized, and we'll save this other box for something else later in the day. You'll notice that I've got my back to you at some points, and there's some boxes on the floor back there. Those boxes are ones that Rod has already organized, and they're kind of grouped into his camera supplies, his modeling or railroad supplies. Those are boxes that are already done. I've still got them open because in most of the cases there will be room to fit other items in there. So that's what I'm doing, is putting different things in those boxes to get them filled up. But one thing that I hadn't done was to get each of those boxes labeled. So that's what I'm doing here. I said that part of the goal was getting things organized. So as I fill up boxes, I am stacking them in the category that each of those are going to be going into, so that when I go to put them on the shelf, they can go in roughly the same area. And that's just to help make it easier for Rod. Oh, there's another empty cardboard box. Yay. And those cardboard boxes I can reuse for my business, so that's super nice. Well, I would love to have all of my containers be the same color, size, look. In our case, these are containers that we have bought over the last several decades. Some of these were used in my business. The ones that we've got right here are things that we bought. Rod primarily bought these kind of paperboard organizing cubes from IKEA, and the dark gray ones in the front of the picture, those are ones that he also bought there. We just kind of over the years accumulated these boxes. I'm glad to have them during the move. They all came in super handy. Now anything that we've got left, if they'll stack together nicely, we might keep a couple of them, put them up in the utility room, and save them for later. But for the most part, given how much stuff we have down here, I'm guessing there's not going to be a lot left. We do have a lot of cardboard shoe boxes, which we've had since the move from Orlando, and we do like shoe boxes for storage. They're easy to tote around, so they're usually lighter weight. But again, cardboard and basements, I just don't like the dampness that the cardboard can get. That's part of the goal of getting rid of them. So here you see I'm doing kind of a final organizing, getting these tote boxes all in the same categories. Oops, don't forget the very top shelf though. Part of the problem with having all of your totes the same size and the same look is that sometimes you have bigger items that if you're trying to fit them in a tote, it's not going to work because the totes are too small. An example would be that picnic basket I just put on that table. Too big, won't fit in any of our totes. So in our case, it's just going to sit on a shelf somewhere. Finally have this shelving unit emptied, and it's going to go into the other side of the basement. This is just an inexpensive IKEA shelf. I think it's actually two different ones that stack on top of each other. So we're making room, and this is the storage corner of the basement, and this is where I would like all of the boxes be. While I'm down here, I would also like to move my canning shelves to the front of the basement. So I'm going to take the time to unload the shelf. Actually, I'm going to try to move it with all these jars on it, but it does not want to move. It is super heavy. So I will have to unload that top shelf. I think I unload fully, and then it's light enough that I can scooch it over to where I want it. This is just feels, I can't tell you, it just feels so good to finally be moving all of these boxes into one area. The area to the left are things that we use frequently out of storage. So business records, our luggage, camping gear, then the holiday, Christmas decorations, Halloween, whatever. All the decorations are on the left. The boxes on the right are the boxes that we have previously gone through in the basement. So those are things from Rod's family, his dad's business, lots of old pictures, all the things that he ended up with when his sisters cleaned out his parents' house. So we do have, it may not look organized, but now things are starting to come together. So now that the canning shelf is back together, we can start filling up this IKEA shelf. Now this shelving unit has a 150-pound limit per shelf. So it's not ultra heavy duty, which is okay. It's not like the commercial racks you can get at Sam's or Costco, any of the big box stores that have a 600-pound or more per shelf. So it's lighter duty, definitely a home type product, not a commercial type product. But for our purposes, it'll do just fine. It's just a little harder to change the width, the depth of each of the shelves. So I'm just going to work with what I've got, which will mean I had to kind of maneuver the boxes a bit to make them all fit. Back on the other side of the basement, we can finally sweep out underneath that shelf that has been there for 4 years and get all the dead spiders and crickets up. And as in previous decluttering efforts, I like to tell you how much garbage we got rid of. In this case, 1 5-gallon bucket full. So now I can kind of get this side of the basement reorganized. We'll take down this temporary table and we're going to move that over to the other side of the basement. And that's just to give us another workspace that we can use for other projects. And that will be coming in handy because I'm going to be building some little rain barrel tables down here. I'm going to move my hammock over to the side, so kind of get it out of the way. So if Rod wants to get to his bookshelves, he can get to those easily. And then we'll just kind of recenter these chairs and this ottoman. And you'll notice I set out my Scrabble board, so I take a little break to work on something. And so here's kind of the cleaned up version of the basement. Looks much better without all the boxes. This hasn't changed much since the last time I posted a video on decluttering. I'm still working on these pictures, and this is probably going to be an ongoing project. So I need to allow myself some grace to get that done. But then as I go on the other side of the table, I find some more boxes that we need to go through. This stack of 3 or 4 boxes mostly is already separated, so we can easily fit that into either boxes that we've already got, or there's a couple large boxes that we will just fill up with things that Rod can go through down the road. And then we will take a second and get those boxes labeled too, so we'll know what category they need to go into. And then I stop and look at these pictures again for a little while, decide just to kind of scoop them together for another day. We did, however, take all of Rod's little knick-knacky things and put them back up on the bookshelves. This is so satisfying to have this project basically completed. It's not as complete as I would like, where all of those boxes have been gone through, but at least everything is now organized. We know what's in the boxes, and if we ever need to, we would be able to find something that we're missing. Here's the final look. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next year if we have any decluttering projects to finish.